in terms of the starting of the band, how was that process? Like, was it just one day you had a couple friends over? Hey, let's start a band. And like, like
it was it was a whole thing. Like the guys that play with me today aren't the same as the band progressed. We had a different guitarist, a different drummer, a different bassist, and they're all dear friends of me. I still keep them in my heart, but we had creative differences. I wanted to push the band in a more heavy sounded way. They wanted to keep it more radio friendly. So it's been a whole thing. Lately, I think I found the right people to play. Like we all grew up listening to metal. We all like hard music. So finding this balance helped us find a sound. Music, it's a part of that. It's a part of life. Life is crude. Life is violent. Life it's like loud. And music helps us heal too. When I wrote this song, I was in a really bad spot. I was going through some stuff like problems at school, problems at house. I recently got dumped when that song came out, and that relationship was a really significant one for me. So this was a way to leave those things behind, because most people do sports. I'm lazy. I won't play sports. I won't go to the gym, but I will grab my guitar and I will write a song and I will say what I feel, how I felt in the moment. And also this all comes from therapy, from going to my psychologist, talking about my problems and how they affect my life. Because I was diagnosed BPD, so living with BPD.
At what age?
I'm currently 23. I was diagnosed BPD when I was 19. So living with it's kind of complicated, because it's a really polar kind of. I won't call it a disease, but a condition, because it's all or nothing. So most of my relationships with my friends, with my parents, with my partners have been this way. Right now, Ecuador, it's a real political mess. Like our president just dissolved Congress, and we have to call elections again. We have to choose another Congress, another president, all in 6 months, and no terminaron su término, no completaron like their terms. So right now, the streets in Guayaquil are really dangerous. You can't just walk out. There's been a lot of killings on the street, like in quote unquote nice parts of town, and people back home have been feeling really insecure. So I said to myself, how can I portray this feeling of insecurity, this feeling of persecution, this feeling of fright. How can I tell my fellow Ecuadorians, relax, we're all scared, we're gonna be fine, we just gotta overcome. Trying to overcome, I think, is the hardest part in a situation like this.
22 West Radio. And today we have Wilson from the band Telémaco. And real quick, can you introduce yourself?
Hey, what's up? Well, yeah, my name's Wilson Chavez. I'm from Guayaquil, Ecuador. I'm the lead singer from Telémaco. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm traveling abroad, currently promoting some themes, some songs, so it's nice to be here.
Awesome. And today, pretty much, I was hoping for 5 to 6, but we're going to have to cut it to 5:30. So we're going to try and listen to his music today and, just talk about the different songs. And I guess we could start off by just talking about that first song we heard, Tarantino, it's called. Wilson, could you talk about that process for that song, just to start off, or anything you'd like to share?
When we composed that song, we were basically trying to encapsulate what that director makes us feel. That's why it's violent, but not harsh. So it's a way for us to express our lives in Guayaquil, in my hometown in Ecuador. Because Guayaquil sometimes feels like a Tarantino movie. It's really surreal. It's really aggressive. Everyone's going around really fast all the time. And you can tell, Guayaquil's 105 degrees most of the time, so you can feel the heat crawling into your skin. So yeah, that's basically what we're trying to encompass. What's it feel to be living in this city? What's it feel to be almost battling everyone all the time?
Wow. Yeah, and that plays a big part in your music and your process as an artist, because throughout the world we have different cultures, we have different nationalities, and people come with different beliefs, different experiences. And on today's episode, one of the reasons I wanted to have Wilson on is, one, for his band, his music, and just support him, and also because I've gotten to know him and I know that he's been through stuff in his life, and I think that's something that could really help a lot of people, just hearing that someone's gone through certain situations, maybe traumatic events, or maybe situations that really affected them, and how they either dealt with it, or maybe if they learned from their mistakes, or if it helped them improve within their life, the way they view the world. Just adding another layer of maybe experience, but sometimes a lot of times wisdom, because it's you learn from your mistakes, you learn from just events that happen in your life. And that's just to introduce today's episode. But I want to throw another song in, and next up we got can you pronounce that?
Yeah, the name of the song is Teriantropia, which is the ability that humans have to convert themselves into animals.
Awesome. Okay, let's check it out. All right, and we're back. So that was Telémaco. Can you say it?
Telémaco with a
Telémaco.
yeah, with
Sorry.
a tilde on the second e. Es lo más latino que se puede. It's the most Latino thing I could do. You know, it's having the the acentos and all of that.
True. But that song was called Teriantropia.
Yeah, Teriantropia. Yeah,
Teriantropia.
for sure.
Okay.
You're pronouncing it perfectly. Yeah, don't worry.
Okay. All right. So that was just a great way to introduce today's episode. You know, we kind of just introducing, you know, who we have today as a guest, you know, a couple songs. And now we're going to get into learning more about Wilson and his journey and, you know, how he ended up being in the band, right?
Yeah, for sure. Well, everything started when I was younger. I grew up in a house full of music, you know, like my whole life. When I remember when I was little, I grew up listening to Pantera, to Nirvana, to all these rock bands, to like Iron Maiden, Metallica, AC/DC, all the classics. You know, my dad was really into them, and it's really contrasting because when I'm from back in Ecuador, back home. Everyone listens to like reggaeton or like salsa, merengue. So being the only kid that listens to this stuff like actively, it always made me like siempre me mantuvo alejado. They always put me aside. So music for me has been always a way to express myself, to be myself, and to find my place in the world. So well, starting the band, before I played what I play today, I used to play punk. I used to be a drummer, actually, not a singer. But I was shy, you know. It was I don't know how to say it. Es pánico escénico. So I was afraid of the crowds.
Like stage fright.
Yes, that. So becoming a lead singer made me take like a part in being. In resolving my fears, you know, in confronting my fears. I said to myself, if you stay behind a drum kit all your life, you're never gonna get over this. So I said, screw it, I'm gonna be in front of the stage, I'm gonna be in front of the people. And this really hit me when, like, I remember we were playing venues for like 200 people, and then we got a show for like a small festival back home in another city. So it was like the last week we were playing for 200 people. Next week we're gonna be playing for 2,000 people. That shock, it was really important for me. It was like a bucket of cold water. So, well, yeah, making music has always been a way for me to express myself, to recognize who I am, and also to like process all what I've been through. Like, I grew up listening to like My Chemical Romance and Fall Out Boy and all, and well, Sleeping with Sirens, Pierce the Veil, all these bands that led me to find my true way, you know, because I always thought like metal was too tough and pop it's too soft, so it's nice in between, you know, looking for your own sound. I grew up with all these Latino influences, and you can't deny them, you know. And now, like quoting Bad Bunny, todo el mundo quiere ser latino, pero les falta sazón. And no, I don't know. It's funny, you know. It's a nice way to tell people you're not alone. You know, you belong. You do belong to somewhere. Well, mainly with my music, it's what I'm trying to approach, you know, trying to take all these sounds that we usually take for granted and make them part of our daily culture, our daily routine.
Indeed, and yeah, in terms of the starting of the band, how was that process? Like, was it just one day you had a couple friends over, hey, let's start a band, and like, you know, like
it was, yeah, it was a whole thing, you know, like the guys that play with me today aren't the same as the band progressed, you know. We had a different guitarist, a different drummer, a different bassist, and they're all dear friends of me. I still keep them in my heart, but we had creative differences, you know. I wanted to push the band in a more heavy sounded way. They wanted to keep it more radio friendly. So it's been a whole thing. Lately, I think I found the right people to play. You know, like we all grew up listening to metal. We all like hard music. So finding this balance helped us find a sound. You know, so with the next song that you're gonna introduce, Espejismo, Mirage in English. It's the latest song that we recorded. It's more of a nu metal ish kind of vibe. You know, a little bit more dark, talking more about what it's like to be what they want you to be and not what you want to be.
Wow, yeah. And that's a great. I have nothing else to add because it's his song. Let's just check it out. We're back. Yeah, that was for some that might be too much, but for Wilson, this is something that I know that he's into this like harder type music where it's like you could hear like all the instruments. There's the passion in the voice. There's the emotion, and it's all very illustrative.
It's really crude, I would say. And I think music it's a part of that. It's a part of life. Life is crude. Life is violent. Life it's like loud. And music helps us heal too. You know,
Exactly.
when I wrote this song, I was in a really bad spot. I was going through some stuff like uh, problems at school, problems at house. I recently got dumped when that song came
Oh,
out, you know,
okay.
and that relationship was a really significant one for me. So this was a way to, well, to leave those things behind, you know, because most people do sports. I'm lazy. I won't play sports. I won't go to the gym, but I will grab my guitar and I will write a song and I will say what I feel, how I felt in the
Yeah.
moment, and also this all comes from therapy, you know, from going to my psychologist, talking about my problems and how they affect my life, because I was diagnosed BPD, so living with
At
BPD.
what age?
I'm currently 23. I was diagnosed BPD when I was 20,
Okay.
19. So living with it, it's kind of complicated, you know, because it's a really polar kind of. Well, I won't call it a disease, you know, but a condition, because it's all or nothing. So most of my relationships with my friends, with my parents, with my partners have been this way, and learning to control the dynamics of the situation, you know, it's for me it's like controlling the dynamics of a song, of a record, you know, like there's gonna be harder and louder places, spots of the recording, you know, and there's gonna be more milder, more softer ways. So for me, is that es una manera de poderme conectar. It's a way for me to connect with what I'm feeling, because usually with BPD me desconectaba, sabes, me perdía completamente de que estaba sintiendo. I wasn't able to recognize what I was feeling. I would lock myself inside my head, and I wouldn't speak to no one for like days on end. And music
Wow.
was a way for me to be able to open up, you know, because I always say I'm not really good with words, but I have a song for everything, you
Mm.
know, and I like to have this musical library to express what I'm feeling. So like, I'm really mad at you because something happened and we're trying to solve it, but I still feel wrong. And then I won't say it, but I will play a song that says something like that.
Mm.
So for me, music has been a way for me to like, uh, like I said, like to connect. It's helped me heal. It has helped me come to terms with my own life, with my own mortality, my own time on this place, you know, on this earth that we're all living. So basically, that, you know, it's a way to try to uh, controlar todo eso, acomodar todo eso.
Yeah. Find that that space where it's a comfort spot.
Yeah.
It's something that takes you back from, sometimes the realities of the world of within your personal problems, within things you can't control, even where you're living, it could be violent, there could be robberies, stuff like that. And it's something that's very important that people understand that, for one, they're not alone. It's something that Wilson talks about, and you're not alone because music can help you heal, for one, by listening to it, but then also by writing it. And like, as a songwriter, how would you describe that process of like, first, are you trying to portray an idea? Are you trying to portray your emotions? Or then you gradually combine it? Or how would you describe that process?
Personally, everything comes from feeling. Usually, I always try to maintain the same structure. You know, music comes first. The lyrics will just appear. Like life still goes on. Everything will be written, but you have to be able to pinpoint what you're feeling. And I think music is a nice way to connect to what you're feeling. For example, back home, right now I've been listening to a lot of metal again. I went to a metal festival like a week ago, and it's a nice contrast, because right now Ecuador, it's a real political mess. Like our president just dissolved Congress, and we have to call elections again. We have to choose another Congress, another president, all in 6 months, and y no terminaron su término, no completaron like their terms. So right now, the streets in Guayaquil are really dangerous. You can't just walk out. There's been a lot of killings on the street, like in quote unquote nice parts of town, and people back home have been feeling really insecure. So I said to myself, how can I portray this feeling of insecurity, this feeling of persecution, this feeling of fright. How can I tell my fellow Ecuadorians, relax? We're all scared. We're gonna be fine. We just gotta overcome. Trying to overcome, I think, is the hardest part in a situation like this.
Definitely, and it's a cooperation of the citizens of realizing that, for one, we're in this together, but it doesn't boil down to the leader. It boils down to the people and the message that they support, and then also that they see that, within the political system, from what I understand, Ecuador, it's varied over the years. There's been political corruption. There's been, even certain let's just say, people from other country that, has been involved in elections in Ecuador that has nothing to do with them, even assassination attempts, even
it's complicated, and I usually say, there's this saying, in Spanish, el pueblo tiene al gobernante que se merece. So it's like Ecuador, it's always been really reluctant to follow orders. There's we usually say back home, people are like crabs, because when you cook a crab in a pot, they're always trying to pull the other crabs that are trying to go out to escape back in the pot. So we're not really helping each other. We're just dragging everyone behind. We're just dragging everyone down, and I think that's something that's inherent from Ecuadorian society, maybe Latino society. It's sad to say it, but usually you don't see that support that you see when you travel abroad from other countries, and I think that happens because people aren't ready to accept, like, that the world won't be always be color de rosa, ¿sabes? Nunca va a ser todo bien, and that's something that people don't usually like.
Definitely, and I think that's a good way to segue to this next song. And could you pronounce that one?
Oh yeah, that's Aritmomania. That's the
Aritmomania.
Aritmomania. That's the obsession with counting.
Okay.
Like I don't know what's its name in English, but in Spanish it's El Conde Contar. Like from Sesame Street, the vampire. He has
vampire
that
from Sesame Street.
He has that. He's always counting, and this song is more of a math rock type of song. So this title comes from the fact that we have to count what we're playing before playing it, so we can stay on time.
So it's like a musician's como like wink.
Basically.
Okay, awesome. So let's check it out. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. Again, that was
Aritmomania.
Aritmomania
Yeah.
by Telémaco. And today we're joined by the lead singer himself, Wilson Chavez.
Pleasure to be here.
No, pleasure having you here. And we're gonna have to cut it short today, unfortunately, to 5:30. But something is better than nothing. So we're here. We're just appreciative. We're grateful that we're able to talk to you all today, and listen to his music and just be appreciative of the artists.
Yeah, it's nice. I wasn't expecting this. I came to the States for just for visiting my grandparents and stuff, and then this happened, and it's nice. It's always nice to show your music to the world, to be able to appreciate what you've done. Like we were saying in between songs, it's more about the journey, not the destination. And I've been able to appreciate more of what I've done, more of what I've composed before, like maybe a year ago, 2 years ago. Every time I listened to myself sing, I would cringe so bad, man. It's hard.
No, I feel you.
It's hard. Yeah, listening to your own voice, it ain't that easy, But it's always nice to be around people that appreciate you. It's always nice to feel appreciated,
Yep. And then in terms of the artistic journey, I think that's something that for anyone listening, if you haven't started, whether you're in the middle of your artistic journey, whether you're, you have years of experience and just looking for different ways for yourself to improve, just understand that it's your own, let's just say, meter of what your vision is and what you're trying to accomplish. And that's what matters is as long as you're proud of your work. And if you're not, then what are the things that you want to improve on? What are the things that you can take now, the steps you can take so that you gradually improve? And, we're going to have to end it right here. So real quick, we'll just kind of just talk about Wilson and where you can find him. And, if you can check out his music, anything like that. And I'll just let Wilson take the wheel on that.
You can find all of our songs in Spotify. We're called Telémaco with a tilde on the second E. You can find us online and on Instagram and everywhere as Telémaco Banda. We're actually currently recording new songs. We're gonna be putting out some new songs maybe in October, so because we're still composing. These are gonna be our the songs for our first LP. So it's nice, it's nice to promote this stuff. When I go back, I think we're gonna have a couple of shows right in June, July. So you can keep up with us at Telémaco Banda everywhere, and there you'll find us. You can look for my turquoise hair. That's a nice way to find us, to identify myself.
Awesome. Yeah.
The last song that I'm gonna present, it's called Nieve, snow in Spanish, and it's more of I would say like a classical rock, like a really rock and roll kind of song. It was one of the first songs I wrote. We recorded this song actually with the La Casa de la Cultura de Cuenca. It's like the organism in charge of culture in one of our provinces, and they sponsored this song. They told us, hey, we like your music, come record. And we are always grateful for those opportunities, keep them coming. So for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah, so we're going to end today's episode with that last song. But once again, thank you all for listening. This has been Eric. This has been the Earth Incarnation podcast. And maybe in the future, we'll be able to make a little bit longer episode, get to know Wilson a little bit more. But, we're grateful that we're going to talk. We talked.
To be here.
And that we got to just hang out and listen to his music. So, as he said earlier, his last song is Nieve by Telémaco. And once again, thank you to Wilson for coming on.
Thank you, Eric, for having me here.
And, hope you all have a great day. Check out the song.
Puertas y ventanas hacia Boulevard. Sube escalones. We are 22 West Radio, broadcasting from Cal State University, Long Beach. This is KKJZ FM HD 3, Long Beach, Los Angeles, and 22westmedia.com. We are 22 West Radio.